This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Tom Corliss of WDWNT.com. Please like this video, subscribe, and hit the notifications bell to make sure you never miss the latest from the Disney theme parks all around the world. But here now the news for January 1st, 2024. From Tiana's Bayou Adventure to the Disney Treasure, there's plenty of projects in the works for the Disney parks and experiences, or whatever you want to call it. I guess it's Disney Experiences now. And 2024 will bring new attractions and offerings, including some that were supposed to open in 2023. But assuming we don't see significant delays, here now is everything new, as well as some significant returning things and closures scheduled to come to the Disney parks in 2024. We, of course, start at Walt Disney World with park hopping and park passes. Major changes to park hopping and park passes are coming to Walt Disney World in January. In fact, on January 9th, all-day park hopping will return. Any guest with a ticket that has a park hopper option will be able to visit any parks without waiting until 2 p.m., as long as they have first visited the park for which they have a park pass. That is, if they even need a park pass, because park pass requirements are also changing. Guests with date-based tickets will no longer need to make park pass reservations. Annual pass holders and cast members will still need to make park passes sometimes, but there will also be good-to-go dates when they don't need a park pass at all. Pass holders and cast members will be able to view those good-to-go days on their calendars beginning on January 11th. Walt Disney World updated their virtual queue guidelines to reflect these changes, stating guests will be able to join one attraction virtual queue at any park where they have valid admission. Guests may hold one attraction virtual queue at a time. Currently, Tron Light Cycle Run and Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind are using virtual queues. The Disney Dining Plan will return to the Walt Disney World Resort on January 9th as well, after being suspended in 2020. There are two plans, the Disney Dining Plan and the Quick Service Dining Plan. You can read more details on our website about both of those, and you can, of course, book them with our friends at Be Our Guest Vacations. Disney announced in May of 2023 that they are planning an update that would allow guests to make Disney Genie Plus and individual Lightning Lane selections before the day of their park visit. They stated they are working on ways guests will do this for visits in 2024 so that guests can spend less time planning in the park and more time enjoying your visit with friends and family. More details have not been shared yet. I have heard through the grapevine, this is a rumor, that this is going to start actually very, very soon. So stay tuned. I think probably in the next week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, we're going to hear about this, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. Moving over to the Magic Kingdom, the new Tiana's Bayou Adventure attraction will open this year at the Magic Kingdom as well as Disneyland, supposedly late 2024, but we don't really know. The Magic Kingdom version may open first since construction began first in Florida several months before it did in California, but a more specific opening timeline again has not been announced. The ride is set years after the events of The Princess and the Frog, and Tiana has founded the employee-owned food co-op Tiana's Foods, based out of an old salt dome where employees grow crops. During the ride, Tiana and Louis will venture into the bayou to find a key ingredient for their Mardi Gras celebration, that's music. Prince Naveen and Mama Odie will also appear. This ride, of course, is replacing Splash Mountain. It will use the same ride system, but all the scenes, the scenery, the theming, etc. will be different. Disney announced at Destination D23 in September of 2023 that the Country Bear Musical Jamboree will replace the current version, the original version, albeit shortened, of the Country Bear Jamboree currently at the Magic Kingdom sometime this year. The Country Bear Musical Jamboree will be inspired by the musical reviews of Nashville and will see the Bears reimagine classic Disney songs into country style. The same old characters will appear in the new version of the attraction, although Liverlips McGraw will be updated due to the defensive nature of his name to Romeo McGraw. But of course, Big Al, the Sunbonnets, Henry, everyone we know and love will be there whenever this happens. Still no closing date for the original show as of yet. A new Pirates of the Caribbean tavern featuring the return of Peg Leg Pete, also known as the Barker Bird in Florida, is in the works for Magic Kingdom. The parrot character used to greet guests outside the entrance of Pirates in Caribbean Plaza, but was removed in 2006 when they added Jack Sparrow and the movie characters. No opening year was announced for the new tavern, but it is believed it should open sometime this year. Walt Disney Imagineering, of course, has teased that Magic Kingdom expansion for Beyond Big Thunder Mountain multiple times. Again, we likely will not see any progress on this expansion in 2024. Maybe we'll at least get an announcement as to what it's going to be, but obviously you're not going to see. I would be surprised if groundbreaking or anything of the sort happens this year. We do have the new D23 Expo event, which I think they're just calling it D23 now. is in the summer, and obviously that would be a place for a lot of big announcements. And from what Disney has told us, they have a lot of big stuff in the pipeline that they are not willing to tell us about just yet. That would be a setting where they would tell us about those sorts of things. So I would not be surprised if we at least get an announcement of what maybe will be beyond Big Thunder, but I would be surprised if work begins. And obviously, you're not going to see anything open in that area in the next year. Moving over to EPCOT, Communicore Hall and Plaza will finally open in early 2024 as the final element of the years-long EPCOT reimagining. The rest of World Celebration opened in December, but Communicore, of course, was delayed. The hall will house a permanent Mickey and Friends meet and greet facility, a gallery, a mixology bar, and a demo kitchen. You can check out our most recent construction update at WDWNT.com. Essentially, it's a festival building, right? There's also that outdoor performance space in the plaza, we are just days away from Festival of the Arts, and even though I said maybe it'll debut for Festival of the Arts, it seems somewhat unlikely at this point. So maybe Flower and Garden is what they're aiming for now. Disney plans to reimagine Test Track once again with inspiration from the original pavilion, The World of Motion. Disney did not announce further details or provide a time frame for this reimagining with their partners at Chevrolet and General Motors, but it's possible the ride would close sometime this year for that transformation. Based on the timeline of the last Test Track redo, I would be shocked if the closure is not sometime in the first half of this year and that it doesn't open by the end of the year. I would be shocked, but we'll wait and see what happens. Over at Disney's Animal Kingdom, of course, at Destination D23, they made several announcements about Animal Kingdom. And while they did not announce when any of these changes would take place, we could see closures in 2024 if construction begins. There, of course, is a Zootopia 3D show planned for the Tree of Life at Disney's Animal Kingdom to replace It's Tough to Be a Bug. As well, the Tropical America's Land featuring Encanto and Indiana Jones is set to replace Dino Land. But again, no closing date. Disney hasn't even really said if this is definitely what they're doing at this point, but we could be saying goodbye to Dinosaur and Dino Land and what's left of Dino-Rama this year. I would wager It's Tough to Be a Bug would close this year. But again, they have not said anything just yet. At Disney's Hollywood Studios in 2024, Star Tours, as well as at Disneyland and Disneyland Paris, will add new destinations, including some we've never seen before. Ahsoka Tano will also be added to the ride in the spring. Disney finally announced a replacement for the Voyage of the Little Mermaid at Hollywood Studios. The show closed with the rest of the park in March of 2020 and never reopened. The new show is The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure. It'll be inspired by the animated film and feature the songs Kiss the Girl, Part of Your World, and Poor Unfortunate Souls. The Little Mermaid, a musical adventure, will open in the newly refreshed Animation Courtyard Theater in the fall of 2024. As for the Walt Disney World Resort hotels, Disney's BoardWalk Inn and Villas are undergoing a refurbishment that has been delayed but will hopefully be completed in 2024. Of course, they completed the inn rooms. They're now working on the villa rooms and, of course, a number of other things around the resort, including the Cake Bake Shop by Gwendolyn Rogers. Cake Bake Shop was supposed to open in 2023, is now delayed. We don't know when this year it will open. In the same story, Blue Ribbon Corn Dogs, which announced that their first Walt Disney World location would open in 2023, also has been pushed back to 2024, although we've seen a lot of active construction at the kiosk, what was the on-the-go kiosk. So my assumption is soon you will be able to get those corn dogs there. Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa is also undergoing a refurbishment that will culminate in a remodel of the lobby sometime this year. Disney originally announced the update would be for the resort's 35th anniversary, but this passed in July. The word on the street was the uproar you guys caused, because we incited your uproar. The uproar that was caused by so many people saying that they were worried about what Disney was going to do to the lobby delayed the project a bit. And at that point, it was too late where it would have stopped the gingerbread house from being installed for the season. And at that point, I think obviously now we have management at Parks and Resorts, which I believe more greatly understands the business they're in and what their guests want. And so the decision was made to go back to the drawing board and work on this lobby project again. So we'll see what happens. Originally, they stated that it would maintain the classic theming you know and love with some fresh new enhancements. What they're going to do remains to be seen. What's funny about this project is, I guess we're talking almost 8 years ago now, this is what began the blood feud with me and Bob Chapek many years ago. Because the first rumor that ever came our way about him was that he walked through the Grand Floridian and he hated it. He was like, this does not evoke, you know, a 4-star resort. This doesn't, you know, we have the Four Seasons on property, and this doesn't, you know, evoke that elegance. This doesn't feel like our flagship. This doesn't feel like a modern deluxe resort. And he really disliked to the point at which they basically were going to throw everything out and start over. And we saw some of that, right? We saw them, they got rid of the Grand Floridian Society Orchestra, which I still think is a sin. There's such a part of the character and the integrity of the hotel. They're now gone, replaced with a couple of couches for the Enchanted Rose, a bar that inexplicably is themed to Beauty and the Beast, in a hotel themed to Florida. I don't know if you guys know this, but Beauty and the Beast takes place in France. I don't know if you guys knew that or not. So things like that, right? You know, Mary Poppins has always been a part of the resort. There's the Victorian element, and that was a little bit of a stretch, but it always worked well enough. And the new Citricos is fine, but more of what we were going to see was what they did to Enchanted Rose, and thankfully Disney pumped the brakes, and we'll see what happens in 2024. But the rumor is once that gingerbread house finally comes down, they'll be able to get to work. We'll see what happens. A new Disney Vacation Club tower is under construction at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort that is expected to open this year, for better or for worse. Also for better or for worse, the cabins at Disney's Fort Wilderness Resort are being remodeled. Actually, they're being demolished and replaced with brand new cabins, 350 of those new DVC units. They will open in the summer of 2024, at least as of right now. Moving to Disneyland Resort, Pixar Fest will return from April 26th through August 4th. The festival will include the new daytime parade, Better Together, a Pixar Pals celebration at Disney California Adventure. Together Forever, a Pixar nighttime spectacular, will return to the skies above Disneyland Park as well. In early January, Disneyland will host the first Disneyland Half Marathon weekend in several years, since 2017, in fact. Registration sold out in just 90 minutes of opening. A new Halloween Half Marathon weekend will take place from September 5th through the 8th of this year. Registration for Club Disney members will open on February 6th, and general registration will open on February 13th. Moving over to Disneyland Park, among returning Disneyland After Dark events will be the first ever Disney Channel Night, which will take place March 5th and 7th, 2024. The new Tiana's Bayou Adventure will also open reportedly at Disneyland in 2024, but again, no date has been provided. It also replaces Splash Mountain at Disneyland, the much older one that also featured the animatronics from the beloved America Sings, which is now no more. I hope they saved a number of them. They were, I mean, those are Mark Davis's figures. They're very historically important, very important. Also, of course, we already mentioned Star Tours will be updated at the parks around the world. Disneyland is included in that list. The Haunted Mansion will be closed for a long-term refurbishment beginning on January 22nd. The refurbishment project will include an expansion of the Haunted Mansion grounds with an expanded outdoor queue, new gardens, a fountain, a gazebo, a greenhouse, and a new retail shop themed to a carriage house. Rumors indicate the regular version of the attraction will not return at all in 2024, so we will have to wait until 2025 for regular Haunted Mansion. Of course, when the mansion does reopen, probably in August or September, it will be Haunted Mansion Holiday. That's still a rumor at this time. At Disney California Adventure, though unlikely to open this year, Imagineering is planning a multiverse attraction featuring King Thanos for Avengers Campus in the park. Concept art released in September of 2023 shows the ride's world-jumping vehicle. We don't know anything else at this point. They haven't broken ground yet, so we assume this is not this year, but we just want to let you guys know that it's still, as of now, Disney says, still happening. Moving on to Disneyland Paris, it's going to be a very exciting year for them. At the Disney Village and the hotels, of course, the Disney Village is in the midst of a reimagining, and some more of the district's new shopping concepts could open in 2024. Of course, Rosalie, the new restaurant, just opened in December. The Disneyland Hotel at Disneyland Paris will reopen on January 25th, 2024. The hotel's reimagining has been described as a royal transformation with inspiration coming from the Disney princesses. The hotel's restaurants will debut new menus as well. They will be completely new in total, in fact. Disney Sequoia Lodge will be refurbished next and could potentially close in 2024 after Disneyland Hotel reopens, but nothing has been announced as of yet. At Disneyland Park, the Main Street Electrical Parade-inspired Disney Electrical Sky Parade drone show will premiere at the park on January 8th. The show is part of the new Symphony of Colors, a celebration that will also include new character costumes, decorations, and a daytime parade and show called A Million Splashes of Color, which will premiere on February 10th. As well, of course, got to mention again, Star Tours at Disneyland Paris will be updated with those new scenes and Ahsoka Tano as well. New Frozen and Winnie the Pooh scenes will be added to Le Pays de Conifay. That's the Parisian version of the Storybook Land canal boats in honor of the attraction's 30th anniversary. It seems Frozen will replace the Pierre et le Loup, that's Peter and the Wolf scene, and the Winnie the Pooh scene may replace Hansel and Gretel. There may be other changes to the ride, but they have not been announced at this time. Queue and seating enhancements are also planned for Casey's Corner and Peter Pan's Flight to make the queues more manageable in those winter months. Over at Walt Disney Studios Park, the exterior construction has begun on Studio One and the Theater District in the Walt Disney Studios Park as part of that major overhaul. Exterior work will be completed in April of 2024, but Studio One will then close for interior construction and will reopen in April of 2025. Work on the entire theater district will be completed around the same time, coinciding with the park's major expansion, including the Kingdom of Arendelle. So that's right, the World of Frozen, otherwise known as Kingdom of Arendelle in Paris, will not open until 2025. An Alice in Wonderland-inspired BMX stunt show will open at the Walt Disney Studios Park in the spring of 2024. The modern and flamboyant show will bring together various types of performers. Guests will have the unique opportunity to influence the outcome of the show. It's replacing the Motors Action Stunt Show Spectacular, which closed way back in 2020. It was originally thought that this theater might be destroyed at some point, but no, they're keeping it, and a new show's going in. As well, queue enhancements are also planned for the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. Nothing major, just again, to keep people warm in those winter months. Over at the Tokyo Disney Resort, Tokyo Disneyland will begin its overhaul of Space Mountain when the ride closes forever on July 31st, 2024, at the end of a months-long celebration called Celebrating the Space Mountain, the Final Ignition. The new Space Mountain, which will be a completely new ride, won't open until 2027. Disney Palpalooza begins on January 10th with Minnie's Funderland. The second series of events will begin on April 9th and run through June 30th, focusing on a different character presenting their world of fun and excitement. Entrusting Fate, the second installment of the Disney Story Beyond Haunted Mansion experience that expands on the attraction's backstory, will take place from February 7th to April 30th. A new castle projection show is coming to Tokyo Disneyland, although we don't know when. The rumor is this summer. Stay tuned for more details. Over at Tokyo Disney Sea, we'll see the massive expansion finally open. It is Fantasy Springs, the 8th port that will be made up of Peter Pan's Neverland, Rapunzel's Forest, and the Frozen Kingdom. It'll open on June 6th and also include an in-park hotel. Each land of the port will have at least one new attraction. In Peter Pan's case, there's 2 rides there. That's right, folks, a new land with 4 new attractions. There's also restaurants and shopping venues and more. Tokyo Disney Resort will host their first ever Tokyo Disney Sea Food and Wine Festival as well from April 1st of 2024 through June 30th. At the Hong Kong Disney Resort, there is a 20th anniversary parade planned, but that will have to wait until 2025. Of course, they just opened World of Frozen in November. There are no real big plans for anything to debut at Hong Kong Disneyland in 2025 at 2024 at this time. It seems their next major edition will be next year. If you missed our coverage of World of Frozen, now's a great time to go watch all of it. I have a daytime and nighttime tour. I ate all the food. All these videos are available right here on the channel. Please go check them out. One last thing I want to mention with Hong Kong, you may remember as part of all those expansion plans they announced, there would be a major Avengers e-ticket in Tomorrowland. They are still not talking about that. It seems to be dead. Disney won't say it. Hong Kong won't say it. It's unclear what's going on at this point. Maybe they're going to build that multiverse ride eventually, but at this point, you know, one section of that Autopia is still sitting there abandoned. That little stage is still there. There is no active construction. So it's unclear what's going to happen in Hong Kong moving forward, but it seems they're not moving forward with anything Avengers related at the moment. At the Shanghai Disney Resort, a 3rd themed hotel is under construction, but an opening date and further details have not been announced. For the Disney Cruise Line, Disney Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point, a new private Disney Cruise Line destination, will open in the summer of 2024. Lookout Key at Lighthouse Point is on the island of Eleuthera in the Bahamas and will include spots like Mabrika Cove, the Goombay Cultural Center, Triton's Trumpet Stage, and Serenity Bay. Cruise recently completed construction on the last block of the Disney Treasure as well. The new Disney Cruise Line ship will set sail on its maiden voyage on December 21st, 2024. You can read more about it on our website. Excited. I think this is going to be the big focus this year. I think 2 places. I think Japan. Obviously, Disney Sea Fantasy Springs is going to change the game, undoubtedly. I think the other big thing is Disney Cruise Line, right? A whole new, they've operated for 20-something years, over 25 years now, with Castaway Cay as their one private island destination, and now there will be another. This is a big deal, and on top of that, another new ship. It is a huge time for them. Of course, the Disney Adventure just around the corner as well. And I'll let you guys know, we will be there. Eric and Jason, I know, are going on that preview cruise to Lookout Cay. So stay tuned for that. I think that's the same week as Fantasy Springs, which is why I'm not going, because we're going to be spread pretty thin across the world covering stuff. And then, of course, I will be on that maiden voyage on the Disney Treasure at the end of next year. So we will be there. And with all of that stuff I just read, we, of course, will be there to bring it all to you throughout the year. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, Be Our Guest Vacations. Your dream vacation begins with Be Our Guests and their concierge team of expert vacation planners. Head on over to beourguestvacations.com/WDWNT, and their team will design your next magical vacation, from the Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resorts to the Disney Cruise Line to Adventures by Disney and more. They're also able to book unforgettable VIP tours where you and your group can experience the ultimate park day. And the best part is their concierge services are 100% free, so do like me and book with them today. Those two cruises I just mentioned, we booked with Be Our Guests because they're great. Multiple accounts online have reported that a guest shoved or potentially punched a cast member at the Magic Kingdom monorail station on Friday night. The actual altercation was not captured on video, but TikTok user Teaching with Miss Casco shared some video of the aftermath. In one, they wrote, "When it's 9:50 and you have to wait for security to clear the monorail because a guest punched a cast member," over a clip of the monorail at the Magic Kingdom station packed with guests. Another video shows security cast members and Orange County Sheriff's officers walking the platform and speaking to cast members and guests. User Brianna Bert 12 commented, "Apparently a guest shoved a cast member and they're getting arrested. And the cast member didn't do anything wrong. The guest freaked out for no reason." A post that has seemingly since been deleted in the Walt Disney World Annual Pass Holder Facebook group corroborated the story. One user who said they were in the monorail car the guest in question was going to get into wrote, and I will quote here, there's some broken English, so bear with me. "A visitor pushed aside a cast member trying to get it into the monorail because he got mad. He was told to go car, and then he was told he can't go." Stay in school, kids. Another commenter said the guest yelled at a sheriff's office. Sorry, how do you write that on the internet? Just like, that's what I'm going to write. That's what I'm posting. In addition to an arrest, physical assault would likely result in a lifetime ban from Walt Disney World Resort, if not other Disney parks and Disney Cruise Line. An altercation on a monorail platform would be especially dangerous as someone could potentially fall. Any ride platform would be the same. As a result of the incident, the monorail service to nearby resorts was delayed, but eventually resumed. Of course, New Year's Eve just happened last night, and we were there at the Disney parks here at Walt Disney World to bring you all the action. So check it out right here on our YouTube channel. You can watch the Fantasy in the Sky fireworks from the Magic Kingdom, or you could check out the newly enhanced New Year's Eve countdown from EPCOT, which was, I think, greatly enhanced by the luminous barges. It really added a lot to the show. Either way, check them both out. Watch them right here on the channel. It's the next best thing to be in there. Amid other changes at the shopping and dining district, the Alex and Ani jewelry store at Disney Springs is closing permanently. The Alex and Ani store at Disney Springs will close permanently on January 2nd. This move comes after Alex and Ani shuttered 20 stores and its headquarters in June of 2023. The Disney Springs location was one of 7 remaining brick-and-mortar locations, though it did move to a new space around the same time. Alex and Ani have produced collaborations with Disney for years, including Disney Parks themed jewelry. Previous collections have featured park anniversaries, attractions like the Haunted Mansion, and more. Those items are available in multiple locations across the resort still. Another Disney Springs offering, The Art of Shaving, is also closing tomorrow. Take a stroll through the turn-of-the-century seaside carnival atmosphere of Disney's BoardWalk Resort and stop in for a souvenir from Screen Door General Store that captures some of the charm of the resort. There's some new items we're going to check out. There's a Disney's BoardWalk Villas scented glow-in-the-dark Loungefly backpack. It's $88. The red and cream design has an all-over print, I should say, with architecture from the resort. Minnie Mouse wearing a cloche hat with a flower. Mickey Mouse in a boater hat. Ice cream, pizza, pretzels, friendship oats, and Surrey bikes. The large front pocket has the resort's light logo and a gold zipper. It's edged in red. And tags on the bag indicate it glows in the dark, and also that it's scented. It's kind of overkill. We felt like it smelled just like the lobby fragrance, which is pretty cool. There's also a BoardWalk Resort Corkcicle for $44.99. It's cream colored and has that simple logo on the front. There's a pink Disney's BoardWalk Resort t-shirt for $34.99. It's a simple shirt in a saltwater taffy pink color. There's a blue Disney's BoardWalk Resort knotted tee for $34.99. This lightweight tee is a bright saltwater taffy blue color and the shirt has a knotted hem. There's also a beach towel for $29.99. The beach towel has the same classy logo design as the Corkcicle bottle we just showed. We recently stayed at the Cascade Cabins at Copper Creek Villas and Cabins at Disney's Wilderness Lodge, a Disney Vacation Club resort, and we're taking you on a virtual tour through the outdoorsy oasis filled with the wilderness charm you know and love. You can watch the full tour of the cabin. It's like a half hour long because the cabin is massive right here on the channel, or you could take the photo tour at WDWNT.com. The Animator's Palate restaurant exists in slightly different forms aboard all 4 of the original Disney Cruise Line ships. And during our Alaska sailing on the Disney Wonder, we enjoyed a Nordic-inspired menu at Animator's Palate for Frozen Night, but this isn't the restaurant's usual menu. During the rotational Disney Cruise Line dining schedule, we did return to Animator's Palate for a standard meal at the Ink and Paint-inspired restaurant. You can now watch that dining review right here on the channel, or again, read it at WDWNT.com. The other reviews from Alaska have been up for a little while. We're still working on the big vlog, which is going to be a couple hours long. It will be coming eventually, but in the meantime, you can tide yourself over with these dining reviews if you have a cruise coming up, because these are shared menus. So you'll see when stuff starts coming up, when more dining reviews start coming up from Jason and I's November cruise out of San Diego, you'll see that we had to skip a bunch of items because we already reviewed them in August on the Alaska cruise. And so between the Alaska cruise in August and Jason and I's dining reviews from November, the whole menu at all of these locations, these shared menus, will be covered. So make sure you check those out. In addition to a Guardians of the Galaxy Mission Breakout themed stage in front of the building, the Tower of Terror transformed into its sister attraction for a New Year's Eve display at Disneyland Paris. DLP Report shared a video on X as seen here. Of course, as you know, Disneyland Paris and Disney California Adventure were both home to a very different version of the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror attraction. They never rebuilt the version from Florida, but that next version did get built. I believe it was 2004 it opened in California Adventure, and I think it was 2007, I want to say. It opened in Paris. Don't quote me on that one off the top of my head. But nonetheless, obviously, the attraction in California eventually became Mission Breakout in 2017. That was way ahead of Avengers Campus even happening. Disneyland Paris announced Avengers Campus, that they were going to do that, and people immediately thought, well, it would make sense to then have Mission Breakout as well, but that never happened. And there have been conflicting stories as to why. One story I had heard was there was essentially a warranty on the facade of the Tower of Terror in Paris, and it was crumbling. So in order to enact the warranty from the company that built the facade, there couldn't be any changes made. So the company would, for free under warranty, come repair the existing facade, but that obviously was null and void if you change the building. That's what I had heard. So over the years, the story had been that they elected to instead update the Tower of Terror in Paris rather than do Mission Breakout. But funny enough, at their New Year's Eve party, not only did they put a Mission Breakout themed stage in front of the Tower of Terror, they then projected Mission Breakout onto the Tower of Terror. Of course, this has been a rumor in Paris for years it's going to happen. The fans are very adamantly against it. You know, I really like the Paris Tower, at least since they made the changes. For those that don't know, a couple years ago, they did this new version, which are the Are You Brave Enough version, which was supposed to be just a Halloween overlay, but then it just stayed because people love it. It really takes what was the worst version of Tower of Terror and takes it to another level. I think it's great. That being said, Mission Breakout is fantastic. I think the Paris crowd would love it. I think as long as we keep the original Twilight Zone Tower of Terror, the one that is perfectly executed, is the one people know and love, the original, as long as the Florida one remains, which is very important this year because this year will celebrate its anniversary this year. It's a big, I think it's the big 3-0 this year, yeah, 30 years. As long as that one stays, I think the other ones can go. I don't think we need them everywhere. I think Mission Breakout would be a big hit in Paris, and I think eventually it will happen. But for now, they're just continuing to tease it. Just continuing to tease it. For the absolute latest on these stories and all that didn't make it into today's show, be sure to check WDWNT.com and follow us on all your favorite social media platforms. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted show and event tickets, and more. Special shout out to all of our WIGS members watching who make this show happen every week. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Tom Corliss saying, enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
Welcome to Deep in the Plus. Each week, join host Rob Whiteside as he and a panel of Disney superfans take a different movie or TV show from the Disney Plus catalog. They'll tell you its history, details, and give their review, so you'll know if it's worth your time. Current shows, classic movies, and everything in between. Watch Deep in the Plus live Wednesday nights at 9 Eastern for new episodes, or catch Deep in the Plus anytime on YouTube on WDWNT TV.